Welcome back to our Analytical channel. Today we are going to discuss a topic called ISO 9001-2026. There are four key topics we are going to discuss today. Topic number one, why ISO 9001-2026 is being changed. Number one. Number two is that the scope of changes that we have divided into three parts: high level changes, medium level changes, and low level changes, so that you can easily follow. Number two. Number three is that we are going to talk about timeline when that ISO 9001-2026 will come into effect. These three. Apart from this, the fourth topic, what we are going to do is that we are going to go a little detail actually. So on the class number 4, what are the changes, 5, 6 and all the way to 10. Very high level we are going to keep it in this one. So stay tuned. So let's get back to the topic number 1. Why ISO 9001-2026 is coming up. So this entire guidelines I have taken from the guidelines to manage the transition of ISO 9001-2026. When you manage the transition, you will be able to implement that ISO series. As you know that ISO 9001 is the mother of all standard. Once you get ready, so all the other integrated management system you can easily implement. So this is the main idea about this. Let's get back to our main topic. So why is ISO 9001 is being revised? So generally speaking, so every 5 years the standard goes through a change. Now this time the last version was, you remember that ISO 9000-2015, in September 2015 it came. Now almost we are in 2026 and now it is getting revised in 2026, right? So therefore almost it has taken 10 to 11 years to form and change and all that, right? So generally it doesn't take that much time, right? So point number one. Point number, there are two main reasons to it. I call it as prime reason to it. Reason number one is that, so to meet that, all the requirement in the standard, it says that targeted update. What do you mean by targeted update? So this revision, what is going to come up in ISO 9001-2026 is not overhaul change. The word overhaul mean not a structural changes. The process of ISO 9001-2008, like there were 8 classes. 2015 it became 10 classes. The 10 classes will remain to be 10 classes. For example, scope, normative reference, terms and definition, and then class number 4, context of the organization. Class number 5 is leadership. Class number 6 is you have planning. Class number 7 you have support. Class number 8 operation. Class number 9 is you have performance evaluation, and then class number 10 is improvement. That remain to be same. So okay, only that is called targeted update, not overhaul, right? Once you get to know the changes, it is good, more than enough, right? So this is point number 1. So in that change, the second point I'm coming to it. So it is 3 key reasons to it. So 3 key changes being done. One is that, so the quality culture and ethical behavior, this has been included, and the lack of formal integration of climate change as a business risk, and these are all the need for the changes and all that. Now we know that we are in the era of digital era, so more than ever. So lot of talk on the AI, everything, that little bit of part has been added into the ISO standard also as well. And so this is HLS. The revision retain with HLS. HLS mean high level structure, ensuring seamless compatibility with ISO 14,000, 45,000, 22,000, 13,000, all other management. That's what I said in the beginning of my talk. I said ISO 9001 is the mother of all standard. When this get changed, 14,000, 13,000, all that is likely to get changed with the same spirit of incorporating those changes as such. Let's get back to the scope now. So scope, very high level, like before, after, and then I will talk about that what is the type of change, whether it's a high change, medium or low. So the first one is quality culture. Quality culture was there, as you can remember, the 5.1 quality culture, promote the use of quality culture, risk-based thinking, all that is there. Now very explicit has been there. Leadership must actively build and evidence the quality culture, right? Here in the previous version, like the auditor probably may not look into that the evidence of leadership team, that to have the evidence. Now it is very important, that is high level. The second Most one is ethical behavior. The word ethical behavior itself is not mentioned in the ISO 9000:2015. Now it is there. Ethical behavior is there in class number 5.1. So these two are high level. Now we're going to take a look on the medium level changes. The climate change. This is medium level that is going to come up in 4.1, 4.2. 4.1, as you know, that understanding the organization in its context, and then 4.2 it talks about interested parties. So these two little bit of climate change related things, medium level changes will come up there. Risk and opportunity, as you know that 6.1 action to address risk and opportunity was there. Now this will be separated into subclasses, 6.1.1, 6.1.2, little bit of when I go to the classes I will cover more into that. And then the low level change, although it is not super highly been emphasized, but this one, digitalization and AI, artificial intelligence, was never been mentioned in ISO 9001:2015, although it is very indirectly been mentioned. We call it as an implicit requirement. Now it has been explicited, and there is a guideline being given in Annex SL and guidance on digital records and AI. And then HLS, which we call it as the high level structure, and the high level structure will remain to be same and it will be preserved. There is no change as such. So this is what we talked about it. There are two high level, two medium, and one is low level. Timeline, let's talk about the timeline now. So timeline is ISO 9001:2015 published, as you rightly remember that it is published on September 2015, right? So now 2024, the climate change has happened, right? So as you know that the climate change every year it is impacting global, all that, right? So climate change, because of that, climate change amendment is happening in class number 4.1, class number 4.2, that is 2024, that is also been done, published. And then draft international standard, they call it DIS ballot. Like when you vote it, you have a ballot, right? So you do that in Indian system. You have a ballot system, you have electronic system, right? Exactly the same thing, ballot system where everybody can go and give that, not everybody, that committee can give and give the suggestions and all that. Exactly that ballot is also been done. Now we are in a final publication that is going to come up in September 2026. That means another 2 months, 3 months. The final version of ISO 9001:2026 is going to come up in September 2026. Just keep in mind. And those who are doing it like ISO programs and all that, please stay for 2-3 months. You will get the new standard. I think probably you can go into that. That's my opinion, personal opinion. Okay, let's get into that more into it. Certification bodies accredited for 2026. 2027, the accreditation body will start using the ISO 9001:2026. And the last but not the least, the deadline, the cutoff time for this one is that late 2029. And after that, we must need to use only ISO 9001:2026. The previous version, that is 5th version, ISO 9001:2015, will not be entertained. Right? So this is the key message, and we have a time. So we have a time till 2029. There is no urgency, but yearly adopters gain a competitive advantage always, right? So when you do that, when you get to know that these are all only, there is no structural change, you are not going to do a very heavy lifting and all that. Only the structural changes you will get to know and do, not structural change, only the tweak if you get to adjust in your procedures and all that. I think that should be okay, and you will be easily able to complete that also as well. So to avoid last minute audit pressure, and you don't need to do that much of the gap analysis and all that, you can easily achieve that. Let's get into that, the last and final segment. I will keep it short. We'll talk about the classes and what are the changes are there. So one is class number 4.1. As you know, that understanding the organization and understanding the organization in its context, right? Where it talks about internal issues and external issues. Now it is climate change amendment 2024 is formally embedded. That is the medium level. 4.2, as you know, the interested parties you have just recalled very well. And in that we are going to talk about, there is a word of climate change also. The interested parties could be customer, could be site, could be stakeholder, could be government, could be employee, all that, right? So in that, climate change also as interested party. You should treat as interested parties. And then that was all about 4. 5, let's get into that. 5, leadership. Leadership, as I said that in the leadership, 5.1, A to J, pretty much same was there. Now it is new explicit requirement. Top management shall promote quality culture and ethical behavior. New normative note state class can be demonstrated through values, belief, history, attitude, and observed behavior. And then 5.2, quality policy remain to be same. The only thing is that since the interested party get changed, that interested parties again it is slightly getting added here. That is about the ethical commitment to ethical behavior. And then you have 6.1. 6.1, let's get into that. 6.1, medium level risk. So risk and action to address risk and opportunities. Now we have very subclasses. 6.1.1, 6.1.2, 6.1.3. So what is this? Now action to address and opportunities is one class. Now it has been divided into 3. So 6.1.1 is addressing the risk. 6.1.2 is that pursuing the opportunities. Right? People get confused with the risk and opportunity. Now it has been separated out. 6.1.1 is that addressing the risk. 6.1.2 is pursuing the opportunities. 6, evaluating the effectiveness being action taken. But actually in ISO 9001, little bit of vague was there. Now it has been very, very explicit. Let's get into quality objective. Quality objectives, as you know that when quality policy is changing, of course there is an element of quality objectives being changed also as well. There is no fundamental change, but however stronger emphasizes that objective must be aligned with the quality policy. In the quality policy we learn that actually the commitment, ethical behavior, all that should be incorporated. The same thing should be documented. You need to give in measurable evidence, everything, right? 7.1, resources. And in resources there are 3 classes getting impacted: 7.1, 7.2 and 7.5. 7.1, that ERP cloud, ERP QMS platform has to be controlled way. That is one. Competency, no change in the core competence. Competence profile should know the digital literacy and data handling skill. Data handling skill now is part of the requirement. With the literacy, the knowledge about statistics, knowledge about data handling and all that is part of the requirement. So 7.5, documentation. The documentation in the ISO 9015 itself is a little broad. The document can be electronic form and all that. So now it is also says that there is no EA assistant operational processes, how to maintain control, the EA related. When you adopt the EA, what control you should have and all that. So I'm just going into class number 8. Class number 8 is only straightforward. There is no any big change. The only thing is the emphasis about EA assistant operational control. For example, you have a robot in your factory, and then that robot is controlled by AI and all that. That means that control you should also justify and have a control in place. 9.1, so monitoring the KPI. There is no change, but only thing is the dashboard. There is very important point that the dashboard analytical skill that we learn in 7.2. Now it has been analytical skill has been encouraged. For example, any dashboard you can show in PPT, Excel, all that. Now it has been encouraged to use that analytic tool like dashboard, BI platform like Power BI. Power BI word is not there. I'm just using this word. BI word is there. BI mean business, Power BI, right? So Power BI like business insights tools you can use it for valid and encourage means of demonstrating performance work. The 9.3, management, the management review, management, if there is no change. Claimant risk is now in the required context input, right? So that one. And then last but not the least, class number 10.3, the leadership active role in continually addressing and identifying the opportunity that has been there. And all in all, so you provide the non-mandatory guidance. All that is also they significantly expanded. The HL has been significantly expanded. New section cover quality object, culture, ethical behavior, climate change, integration, digital record, data integrity, AI, automation, QMS processes, QMS supply chain, resilience, all that been added. So these are all the 4 changes you can look forward. First, we talked about why ISO 9000 2015 2026 is changing, number 1. Number 2, we learn about what are the scope of changes. We classified into high, medium, low. Number 2. Number 3, we talked about the timeline. Number 4, we also talked about a little bit go in detail from class number 4 all the way to class number 8. Hope you like it. Please do like, share, subscribe channel. You have a wonderful day.